guys, it's another beautiful Wednesday. All the people who are like, so she thinks she can post twice a week. You see your lives? You see your lives? Okay, I need to stop being petty and shady. Anyway, a happy Wednesday. Do people say happy Wednesday? Wonderful Wednesday, people. Welcome back to my channel where we have real, relatable and raw conversations. I'm here for it. Are you here for it? Yeah, so today I want us to talk about growing in self-awareness. I think this topic is a must-have. We need to sit down around the table with all my young people and we need to have this conversation. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. One time my little sister told me that I have anger issues. I'm like, girl, I don't have no anger issues, okay? Another friend of mine told me, you're very critical and analytical. I'm like, no. I remember another friend of mine telling me I hate confrontation, and that day I was so angry I didn't talk to her that night. And I'm like, no, I don't. Well, fast forward to some years later, I did realize I did have some anger issues. I was very critical and I hated confrontation. So that little story is to tell you that sometimes we're very oblivious of who we are, or we don't actually know who we are, and therefore growing in self-awareness is very important. So I'm not going to be using like dictionary definitions. I'm just going to try and make it as relatable as possible. My description or definition of self-awareness is just being aware of who you are. That is your strengths, your weaknesses, your toxic traits, your personality, what is your temperament. There's this thing I've been seeing, is it Enneagram test? Your personality type. I think maybe they're trying to get rid of the whole temperaments, melancholic, sanguine stuff, and then all this, I'm a type A, I'm a type 1, type 8, all that kind of thing. And it's okay to get into those things, that personality test. Some people are just a little too extra and they're trying to tell you those things don't matter or they don't affect Christians. If a man be in Christ is a new creation, I get it. I'm Christian, okay? But have you noticed that we have different personalities? So when you see these kind of tests or these kind of things, they are personality tests. And I just want to put it out there, they're not an excuse for being rude, like a choleric Christian saying, I'm choleric, so I'm bound to be controlling. It's just who I am. No, that's not it. I read a Christian book on temperaments, and they begin by telling you why it's important to know your temperament so you know what to work on. Okay, so if you're one of those people who feel temperament doesn't matter to Christians, if a man being Christ is a new creation, we're all one new person, guys, you've noticed we're different. We have the same spirit, but there's no part of the Bible that says one personality. It is not. And most of us are not in touch with our personalities, and so we end up not working on them. So that's what I want to touch today, growing in self-awareness. So I began by putting myself on the spot to say I didn't know some of the issues I had. I'm going to be very practical with you. So I came from the day I finally believed I had anger issues. I came from a city with my sister, and I'm a little bit frugal. Sometimes, not all the time, but I think I was more frugal in the past. And I think it was more so out of just having exactly the amount of money I need, okay? So it wasn't being frugal out of abundance. If you know me well, you know that's something I need to work on. I like to just eat fancy and whatever. So the being frugal then was out of not having enough, okay? So we came from a city outside while I was in Zambia, I think in 2015, and she was really tired, and I'm like, bruh, we've just used the bus, so we cannot get on a taxi. And my sister really wanted to get on a taxi, like she was tired, okay? And I wasn't having it. Being an older sister, so you're a bit more bossy, let's just call it, controlling sometimes. And so I got so angry, and guys, I threw a tantrum in the midst of town. Like, now that I'm saying it, it's embarrassing. I shouted at her in front of everybody. I was carrying a bag and I dropped that, whatever, use your taxi. Dropped the bag on the road, guys, on the road. And she was so embarrassed, and I just walked away. And she got in the taxi, got home, and now I was walking and I felt so stupid. So this is the person who thinks she doesn't have anger issues. But look at me in that situation. Look at how I just went ahead and just blew things out of proportion. So later, I now got to realize, okay, I easily get angry over certain things. It may not be over all things, but over certain things. So I need to work on it. Okay? So today's topic is how important it is as a young person to grow in self-awareness. Now, what are the components of self-awareness? I think you need to know your personality. You need to know, am I choleric? Am I sanguine? Am I phlegmatic? Am I, what's the last one? Melancholic, right? Check the personality test. Am I a go-getter? Do I have controlling traits? This kind of thing. With just your personality. While we're here, I don't believe in zodiac signs. I don't believe that the period you were born has anything to do with your character. Personally, I don't. But when it comes to personality traits, you see it outrightly, okay? So, when you know what your personality type is, you try to understand the strengths, try to understand the weaknesses. Look at you as a person, because not just that is going to influence you, your upbringing can influence you. Two different sanguines that were brought up in two different environments are going to produce different personalities, okay? So we put all those things together, and then you begin to work on yourself. So now, as a young person, these are the things about you need to know. You need to know your strengths. Guys, knowing your strength is not pride. It is not. Knowing I am good at photography, I am good at public speaking, is not pride. You have to know your strengths. I'm good at people relations. Okay? So know your strength. Get a piece of paper. Don't be afraid to know your strengths. Don't be afraid to say them out loud. Don't be afraid to put yourself in, maybe you're in an organization or church and you know you're a leader. You can do things well. Don't be afraid to go to the forefront and do it. Okay? Secondly, know your weaknesses. Know your weaknesses. When you know your weaknesses, you know how to work on them. Thirdly, this one's touchy. I was watching I think a little discussion by Ezekiel Ozonu and his wife. They were doing this experiment, and they had ladies and gentlemen answering some questions, so that it was like back to back. They were facing backwards, so they didn't see each other and were just able to ask questions freely. And so they were asking the ladies, what are your toxic traits? And I was like, what are my toxic traits? And guys, they asked for 3. I could easily come up with 3. I'm not going to say here. I think I'll put myself out enough for today. And so I'm like, wow. Do you know there's certain people that think they don't have toxic traits? Perfect Penelope. Perfect Peter. Stop it. Stop it. Some of us are so good at pointing out, that person's toxic. That person's toxic. You have some toxic traits too. Okay? And maybe you're pointing other people all the time and not being able to look at you is your toxic trait. So don't be afraid to face your toxic traits. Don't be afraid to call yourself out. And I'm saying this in a healthy way. Okay? So in a healthy way, just say, get a bit bossy. You like to boss people around. You're quite controlling. You love attention in an unhealthy way. So let's begin to work on it. So sit down with yourself, write down your strengths, write down your weaknesses, write down the toxic traits, write down your personality type, put them down, get to know yourself. Now, how do we grow in self-awareness? Let's be practical. Spend a lot of time with you. And this is not you watching Netflix. This is not you being on YouTube. This is not you being on, what do you call it? Instagram. That's not spending time with yourself. You're spending time on social media. My previous video on Sunday, I talked about journaling. So one of the ways, have alone time, guys. Not literally, no music, nothing. Just be alone and begin to understand, why do I behave this way? What happened to me? How did I become like this? That a person that has a healthy level of self-awareness is going to become better. The reason why we have a lot of people acting just crazy is because they don't even know who they are. So spend a lot of time with yourself. It is not low self-esteem or not having confidence to call out your weaknesses. I think a confident person actually knows they're not perfect and they're okay with it and they can work on it. Okay, so spend a lot of time with yourself. I've given you some areas where you can work on. Ask yourself, what do I like? Some of you are going to know your favorite flavor of chocolate or ice cream or food. You don't know what you like to do. You don't know your love language. You don't know. You don't know the best way of studying for you. You don't know your type. That one's going to be a deep one, isn't it? Let's just move from there. Okay, so spend time with yourself. The second thing you can do is have a great community. I have a great circle, guys. My friends, woo, shout out to all my friends. I don't want to just mention all of them here. They're not so many, but you know how you mention one, leave out one. I'm not going to do that. But I have friends that can give me good feedback. We can have conversations. They'll tell you, Ruth, no, this is not good. And these are friends I know they are for me. We don't have issues of competition, jealousy, or whatever. So whenever they correct me or tell me this thing about you is not so good, I take it well. So I don't even know why you should have friends that you feel you guys have some sort of jealousy or whatever. Those are acquaintances. Your actual friends, you guys should have each other at heart. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Or your siblings. I have a great relationship with my siblings, so they're able to tell you, just in case you have blind spots. So because sometimes you do have blind spots to yourself. So you have your friends, and read books, guys. Books are just such an eye-opener as well. So you can read, the book of old times, the Bible, read spiritual books, read psychological books, read wide. Don't just be narrow-minded in what you read. Read wide. You find that you learn a lot from these things. Watch YouTube videos on things like self-awareness or growing in your emotions, your psyche, and things like that. Follow Instagram, what do they call them, pages on such things. It's so healthy. It's healthy for you. You really need to know who you are. Some of us have been dealing, this is a topic for another day, gosh, I just have so much going on, like esteem issues or self-love. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But some of us can't even appreciate who we are because we don't know who we are. And when we talk about things like self-love, is after you have accepted everything and then you work on what should be worked on. Okay, so today, if you're one of those people who has zero level of self-awareness, I want to let you guys know that it's annoying. You're usually annoying in circles. You're difficult to deal with. I'm telling you this as your older sister. People who have poor self-awareness are difficult to deal with because they don't know they have that much issues. They don't know they're toxic and they're not trying to work on it. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for people around you. So do well after this video. Get a paper. I'm going to ask some of y'all, write down things about you. Begin to spend time with you. Dedicate maybe even 30 minutes every day of just silence and sit with Ruth. Who is Ruth? What does she like? What are Ruth's hobbies? How did Ruth's upbringing affect her? How is Ruth's relationship with her parents? Get to know you. Grow in self-awareness. What things do I do that could be quite annoying? Okay, maybe I don't know. Let me ask my chommy. That's a friend. Friend, what do I do that's annoying? You have good friends, I'll tell you. You can be quite selfish. The way you don't reply messages sometimes is quite annoying. Or the way you do this and that. Do you understand? So try on and work on being better. I'm going to say this again. You're not perfect Penelope. You're not perfect Peter. And people who carry themselves with a perfect demeanor are really, really annoying. I'm just putting it out there. I'm saying it for everybody else. They behave like they have no issues, always pointing out other people's issues. That person is not in a good place. Hey, that person has toxic traits. Like my Nigerian people would say, you call. No, don't just be so good at pointing at everybody. Sit down with yourself as well and say, hey, there's certain things about me that are not so pleasant and I need to work on them. All right? So this is Big Sis saying, let's grow in self-awareness. I really think this is important to Christians because sometimes, guys, I've seen these little things. They say, you speak in tongues, but you gossip in English. We just have a whole lot of toxic things to cut off. You're so spiritual in church, but you lack character. It's not right. The Holy Spirit should influence every area of your life. Every area. You can't be coming from year to year. You're just rude. Rude. And you're telling us it's because I'm choleric. You're controlling. You're abusive. It's because I'm choleric. You're indisciplined. It's because I'm sanguine. Stop it. When you now know this is the trait I have, sit down, work on it, read books on how to work on it, get scriptures on how to work on it, talk to people on how to work on it, and become better. So the reason I'm laying this foundation, from next week I'm going to begin to tackle all the issues one by one. Woo! And I'm so excited that I got. And I just thought, before we get into that, let's start with the foundation of self-awareness. Like, let me know, I'm having lust issues. They need to be worked on. I'm quite jealous. I'm actually jealous. It needs to be worked on. I'm controlling. I like to control people. I like having things my way. It needs to be worked on. And every other thing, we're going to get into that good stuff. So I wanted to start with self-awareness. So let's prepare for the next coming videos by working on self-awareness. So I have an assignment for you today. Sit down with yourself, get to know yourself. Before I leave, it's not a one-time thing. I have evolved over the years. I'm getting to know myself better over the years. So you grow in self-awareness. You keep growing. There's something I love about Bishop T.D. Jakes and his wifey, First Lady Serena. So classy, that woman. They have dates sometimes. This is why I've been married, to know how the other person has grown. What is changing about you? So it shows you that self-awareness doesn't change just because you've had this moment. It's not a one-moment thing. You don't have an aha moment and it's over. It keeps getting better with time. So people are 70 and they're beginning to know certain things about themselves. So it's so exciting. So get on the journey. Join the wagon of growing in self-awareness. You'll be better for you, for others, and for whatever you have to do in life. All right, guys. So that's all I had for today. You know the drill. Like, subscribe if you're new here for the very first time. Share the link and let's engage in the comments. So until my next video, it is goodbye. God bless. Ruth loves you, but God loves you so much more. Bye.